What's up, guys? Shuckle King here, and I'm bringing you my draft analysis for the GBA's Fan Draft League version 2. The first one happened last year around this time, and I guess maybe they'll do it once a year. We'll see. But in case you don't know me, I'm Shuckle King. I am the coach in the LD Minors, League Dependency Minors. Maybe on the verge of getting the majors. We'll see. I'm pretty close to auto promotion, or have a pretty high seed right now, so we'll see. And also the IPL Majors coach, where I won last season, actually, in my first season in the league, and I've recently won the NCP Season 2. In terms of tournaments, this is probably my 8th or so draft league tournament, and I've made it at least past pools every time except for the EBT I missed out, but every other one I've made it past pools. I think round of 8 is the farthest I've gone. I've been pretty consistent losing like the round of 8 or round of 16 or so. Last year I did play in the FDL round 1. I was a substitute for a coach, and I did not like my team at all, but fortunately I was able to make it out of pools. But I did lose to Hacks primarily in around the 64 games. That was unfortunate, but I was pretty happy with just making it past pools with the team I had. And this year, I actually have my own team, and I'm also running one of the draft pools. But I'm going to try to make it a little bit farther than around the 64, but we'll see. So how this drafting works, in case you don't know, in this league, you can basically draft any mon that's an OU, with a couple exceptions, like Megaladios, Megaladios, Magirna, Protean, and Ash Greninja. There's probably one or two others. But typical mons that are allowed in draft league format, and you can pick whatever you want. There's 10 people in each pool, and it's snake draft, so if I have the first pick, I wouldn't get another pick until the 20th pick. So that's how that works, and I actually did get the first overall pick, which is somewhat of a blessing and a curse. It's not much of a curse, it doesn't really matter, but it's good to get first overall pick just because I can get whatever I want. That's really cool. It's somewhat bad because it's a free league, however, and I'm going to say at least some of the coaches don't really have the same types of priorities in picking Pokemon that I want, per se. So I feel like it might be better to have picks towards the end of the draft, just because I have a pretty good chance I'll be getting one of the top Pokemon that I want anyway, and I'll be able to get a better second pick. There is a chance I would be able to maybe even get 2 of like my top 5 or top 6 mons if I have like pick 8 or pick 9. So that's why I feel like later drafts, especially with people that have lesser experience in draft league format, is certainly nice, but getting the first pick is not bad. I'm not complaining at all. My drafting philosophy for this is just to get as many broken things as possible, at least for the first 6 picks, and then worry about synergy for the last 2. I guess people like to get like Fairy, Dragon, Steel cores, Fire, Water, Grass, Dark, Fighting, Psychic cores, but I like just getting things that are busted, and hopefully they'll probably work at it. If I have mons that are better than yours, even if you have better team synergy, I should be able to overwhelm you. Now I had a few choices between my first pick. Celesteela is super nice just because of that bulk. And the speed isn't that great, but you can boost with Autonomize and basically late game sweep with Beast Boost plus a Z move. Kyurem Black is really nice just because of that base 170 attack, and also has very good special coverage. And decent enough speed, but it can be remedied with a Z Hail. It's also a good choice scarf user and a great Z move user. Landorus is something I've never used before, and it's something I really want to try, and it has really high attack, great as a defensive mon as well as a physical mon with either scarf or like Z Fly or Z Earthquake. Mew I feel like is a really good pick just because it can do whatever you want really for your team. Munium Z is banned, so it's not as enticing to get Mew with the first overall pick, but you can't really fault somebody for getting Mew pick 1. And Tapu Koko is certainly nice with Electric Surge, and makes that 95 special attack a lot higher. And it's a really nice speed tier. You don't really have to worry about drafting too many speedy mons after getting Tapu Koko. But what I did decide to go with my first overall pick. Oh, also Megas. Mega Momo was allowed, but I feel like it's probably not pick 1 worthy, but it's certainly round 1 or round 2 worthy for sure. It's a really good Mega. But I want to hold off on getting my Mega if I can, just because there's only 10 people in this draft pool, so there's going to be a lot of good Megas that aren't picked. So there's really no point in trying to get one early. I'd rather just get a bunch of good Pokemon prior to getting my Mega. So that's how I thought out this process, and my first pick is actually Celesteela. I've used Celesteela in the past, but again, as I said before, the Autonomize with stuff with physical and special coverage. You have Earthquake to hit electric types that can come in on it. Fire coverage to hit steel types that can kind of wall sets, especially if they have levitate with steel. Grass Drain or Giga Drain and Grass moves are there for bulky waters, though most can probably take a hit pretty well, but they're not going to be taking many hits very well with Leech Seed plus a Grass set. A set that I do like is Weakness Policy instead of Z moves, but I am making it one of my Z move users just because of that versatility there. And something like Z with Air Slash is really nice coverage there. It has Stone Edge, Superpower to prevent the drops from happening. There's a lot of coverage moves. It has Z Fly. And it's also a really good defensive mon. Can go physical or defensive. Can take basically any electric hit, even with like max HP and maybe minimal special defense investment. And can take decent amount of fire hits if you're max defense or max special defense defending on what the fire coverage is. So Celesteela is just so versatile, and that's why I went with it for my first overall pick. Now with this, Celesteela struggles a little bit with bulky psychics and bulky waters, so I want to make sure I get Pokemon that can handle those. But most importantly, the 2 types that hurt Celesteela the most are fire and electric. So ideally I want this draft to make sure that your opponent at least is hesitant to bring their fire types and their electric types just because of all the other Pokemon I have on my team, that they may be more of a hindrance than a benefit. So that's going to be my goal. And my next pick is kind of contrary to what I said previously, which is I usually don't get Megas as early, unless if it's like Mega Lopunny or Mega Gallade depending. But Mega Lopunny is super nice with its super high speed and super high attack, but it was taken. Mega Mawile is also something I certainly would have considered with a round 2 pick, but I did pick Celesteela, so I feel like there's not as much synergy there as there could be. So there were a couple good Megas on the board, like Mega Gallade 2 was available, and that was something I did highly consider with the second pick, but I did go with a different Mega instead, and that is Mega Diancie. Mega Diancie is super nice with base 160 attack and special attack. Yes, you can't boost it with like a life orb or something, but even then, just that base attack is super strong. Its bulk is not that great, but it gets exponentially bulkier with just max HP. You can see it raises its HP by like what would that be, like 20-ish%, a little more than 20% increase in its bulk just by going with max HP. So it could take a lot more hits in that regards. Has a really nice speed tier at base 110, outspeeding all the base 100s and stuff like Garchomp and the like in that speed tier range. Diamond Storm, Moonblast, Stealth Rock are probably 3 moves they're going to run almost every time on this, and at this 4th move can be anything. Protect is nice to scout, because the problem with Mega Diancie, it is 4 times weak to Steel, so like an electric type can easily run Hidden Power Steel and kill Mega Diancie. So Protect can watch out for those. Earth Power is a really nice move for Steel types. Sub Endeavor is also a really cool set to bring down something that you have trouble dealing with, like a bulky Psychic or a bulky Water. I can just Sub Endeavor and get them down to 1 HP, and they're a lot more manageable at that point. It can also be a Rock Power Sweeper or a Calm Mind Sweeper, but I don't imagine it really being in that role in this team. I just want something really fast that can handle Dragon types, can get up rocks, and can prevent rocks from getting up on my side of the field, which will be more important, which you see later on in my picks. I also could have gone Clefable. I was debating between getting like Mega Gallade plus Clefable, or getting Mega Diancie with plus my next fighting type, but I decided to go with this core. And my third pick is Infernape. Might be a little bit high to pick Infernape, but it wasn't going to come back to me for round 4 or 5. I also debated between a Victini and Infernape. Infernape has higher speed, and it has access to Stealth Rocks. So there are two clauses there that are a lot more useful than what Victini offers. And Infernape can also go physical or special like Victini can. It has U-turn, which is certainly nice. It has priority as well with Mach Punch or Vacuum Wave. Fire plus fighting coverage is just really nice coverage to have for such a fast mon. So that's basically it for that. And next, so these both picks I picked at the same time, Diancie plus Infernape. And for my next 2 picks are also going to be wheel picks, so I get a little bit of synergy there, and I won't get sniped with picks. But at this point, I still want to just get the best available mons. But for one, I knew I wanted to get in particular, and I was pretty confident it was going to stay until round 4, and that was Dragonite. Dragonite is really nice with Celesteela because they're 2 of the best Z-move users in the game. Z-moves I like with this are Electrium with Thunder Punch. You can go Flynium with Z-Fly, or you can just go Dragonium Z with Z-Outrage. There are 3 really great Z-moves there with Dragonite that can break down teams. Probably won't be running in our focus much, especially because I believe Defog and Multi-Skill are now compatible with each other, whereas they weren't previously to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. But Dragonite has okay speed, but really nice physical attack. And with Multi-Skill, I can take any Hidden Power Ice or any type of move basically with no problem. Maybe like a Stab Ice Beam would be able to kill me, or a Stab Dragon move. But there's not many hits that are able to kill Dragonite through its Multi-Skill, and I do have Mega Diancie to hopefully deter rocks from coming up on my side of the field. So Dragonite's pretty straightforward. It's a little slow, so I'm sure just about every team's going to be packing a Choice Scarfer that's faster than base 80 to be able to deal damage to Dragonite, but I'll be able to work around that. I also was able to make it to the round of 16 for Brawl for All with Celesteela plus Dragonite, with Z moves, and I faced some pretty good opponents in that round. It was a harder round of 16 than normal, so I was pretty satisfied with that combo, and I wanted to try it again. Next Pokemon I had that probably shouldn't last this long is Manaphy. Manaphy was at least top 5 in the format back in Gen 6. It fell out of grace a little bit. Even with Z moves, it's just not as strong and not as bulky and not as fast as you really want it to be, just because of the general power creep and such that comes after every game. But with Z moves, it's really strong, especially with Rain Dance, but I'm not going to be running that in this role. I imagine Manaphy is going to most likely be something in the lines of like max HP, max speed, or just max HP and max special attack with Scald, Ice Beam, U-turn, Toxic. I probably won't be running Tail Glow a whole lot, though it's certainly a possibility, and I'm sure a lot of teams are going to be weak to it, so it's going to be cool if I can run that. Oh, Energy Ball would also be a possibility to hit water types there, but another answer to bulky waters would be Manaphy, especially if I did run Tail Glow plus Energy Ball. You're not going to be taking many hits. And another cool set is defensive Manaphy with Calm Mind and Rain Dance, so I can heal up with my rest, and with hydration and rain, I'll be able to cure my sleeping ailment with rest in 1 turn, which is really cool. Can go offense if I want to, but it's probably going to be a pivot momentum mon for the rest of my team. So round 6 and 7, I need better electric resistances and deterrent. I said before I wanted fire and electric resistances. Now Mega Diancie, Infernape, Dragonite, and Manaphy all really handle fire types very well. But none of them really handle electric types well, especially because they're going to electrics are going to run Hidden Power Ice for Dragonite. So that's not the most reliable electric answer there. So I need a couple months that can deter electric types from coming. I was hoping that Thundy I or Thundy T would come back to me because they were both available for my round 4 and round 5 pick, and like 90% of the time I definitely would have picked one of those two, probably Thundy I, though Thundy T might make more sense with this team with Celesteela and don't need the 111 speed tier that Thundy offers. But I also was okay with not getting them just because I knew another electric type was going to be available, and I was okay with getting that because I wanted to try it. But neither of them came back to me, which is not surprising at all. But I did see, I feel like it's a pretty, not a broken combo because it is still available, but it's going to be certainly a really good combo with the next two Pokemon I have. And my round 6 pick is Kartana. I do not have a secondary way to remove hazards, and Dragonite does not count for that role, so I'm going to go with Kartana as a Defogger. One of the highest attacks allowed in this format, might be the highest attack, with really nice speed. Base 109, I do have a little bit of jumble with 109 speed, 108 speed, and 110 speed. That's not too big of a problem. Kartana can be Choice Scarf, can be Life Orb, Sword Stance, handles the bulky waters. It can take a Scald or a water move fairly easily. Hopefully I don't get a burn, and I should be able to OHKO any water type with a Leaf Blade, especially if I'm Life Orbs. It's pretty straightforward with Kartana. I can also take an electric move if I needed to. It can probably take like a Choice Scarf, 10 Power Ice, though I really wouldn't want it to if I don't have to. But the next Pokemon I have that makes Kartana even more powerful than what it is my round 7 pick in Tapu Bulu. Now, both of these mons benefit from each other. Well, Kartana benefits from Tapu Bulu just because of Grassy Surge, so Kartana's Leaf Blade are going to be doing even more damage than before. And Tapu Bulu also somewhat benefits from Kartana just because Kartana can weaken potential Pokemon that Tapu Bulu can't get through. Though for the most part, they both are walled pretty easily by similar Pokemon, so that's something I gotta watch out for. But Tapu Bulu is nice because it's a very good grass or electric resist. Base 70 and base 95 special defense is very, very good. Not excellent, but it's passable, and especially because most electric are going to run Hidden Power Ice. For my Dragonite, Tapu Bulu can eat those up and kill anything with a Wood Hammer. Unless you have like a 4 times resist on your team, Choice Banded Wood Hammer is going to do a damage, and it's going to nuke any bulky waters or bulky psychics that you're going to try to bring to your team that can counter Celesteela and Dragonite. So Tapu Bulu is pretty straightforward. Speed is okay, not great, but that's what you got to do. In the last Pokemon I wanted, I had to try to get some synergy for this team. And I wanted an electric immunity. Kartana isn't the greatest electric answer. It can take a hit, but I don't really want it to. Tapu Bulu can take hits alright, but it's not immune. And right now, people can just Volt Switch on me pretty easily. So I want an electric immunity, and there were pretty good things available. I really like Lander's Eye, even if it's just Sand Force. With that 101 speed, outspeed base 100s plus U-turn, and another Rocker would be cool, but that's another 4 times a week. Pokemon and Hidden Power Ice, which isn't great on this team. Dugtrio would have been cool, especially with the nice speed tier that it provides. But I kind of want something that has momentum because Infernape and Manaphy are the only things that provide that, and Manaphy might not always run U-turn. It's not usually preferred on it. Infernape is definitely okay with U-turn, but I would like a U-turner, and Diggersby is there. And it has spikes, which would be really cool for my team with Dragonite and Celesteela. I feel like it's a little underwhelming, especially based on its speed tier. And I would like something with elite speed. So what provides me with all this is a Jolteon. Jolteon is, I feel like it's not that great, and I usually wouldn't get it in a draft league, normal draft league, but in this format and based on my team, I feel like it really fits. One thing is Quick Feet is certainly a cool ability if I want to run like Flame Orb, and have the ability to switch up moves and not run Choice Scarf. I could still basically outspeed anything on your team unless if it's like on Burn and Hawlucha or whatever. So that's really cool, but most of the time it's going to run Volt Absorb. Volt Switch, Thunderbolt. It doesn't have too much coverage on this team, but it's a fairly good answer to electric types. It has 65-95 bulk, which is certainly not bad compared to like Tapu Bulu 70-95. It's basically the same special defense bulk as Tapu Bulu for electric hits, and it's also not weak to Hidden Power Ice, or take super effective damage from Hidden Power Ice, so it's probably a better electric answer than Tapu Bulu. It also can run Wish, which I feel like I will run at some point during this tournament to further heal myself for a potential teammate, even though it has really low base HP. I can go Wish plus Baton Pass or Wish plus Volt Switch and get it into a like Celesteela or Dragonite to maybe try to sweep again. Gets dual screens in case I want a fast screener for like a Manaphy or Dragonite setup sweep. It can also Baton Pass stats. You can't Baton Pass speed, but it can get work up. It does, so you might see that. We'll see. But Jolteon just fits this team very well. There are a couple mons I could have gotten with the 8th pick that definitely should have been picked, but they weren't for some reason. Hoopa Unbound was available, which is just insane. And I definitely considered it for my round 6 and 7 pick, but I went with the grass core just to see if it worked or not. Gothitelle is really cool with its trapping ability. Pick 8 is definitely worth it. Probably worth it like 6 or 7. The ability to disrupt the items that your opponent has to bring is probably worth it. Scolipede, good Z-move user, but I already have 2 good Z-move users. Tracheon is really cool, again with Z-moves, or it's just a good rocker in general. Skarmory, I'm surprised Skarmory didn't go, but Steelix was drafted. Sure. Reuniclus is a solid Pokemon in this format with a Regenerator plus Magic Guard Calm Mind. Pelipper was available. I did consider, like very early on in my draft plan, considered getting Rain with Mega Swampert at the end, but Mega Diancie was available pick 2, so I had to pick that, so Rain was not an option at that point. Greninja is a really nice Pokemon with its speed, and something I did consider, but I really needed an electric immunity on this team. A couple of Megas that were available were Megazord X and Y, Mega Pinsir, and Mega Venusaur. Most people did pick good Megas, so I can't really fault that they were still available, but as I was saying before, usually there's not really much of a point of picking a Mega early on just because there's going to be a ton of really good stuff available. So I want to look, somebody, what's his name, Hermdone Chad, has a really nice document here about looking at the stats and data of all the picks. So I wanted to see what my picks were and see how they scored down in terms of the average. I was just trying to get the best Pokemon available was my goal. So I feel like most of my picks should be above the average of when they were picked, though maybe not. I predict maybe like Jolteon probably wasn't drafted in a lot of drafts. Infernape was drafted a little bit high. Dragonite might be a little bit high, I'm not sure, but everything else should be about right. I guess technically Celesteela is not was drafted high because I had first pick, and unless if everybody picked it, pick one, Celesteela was going to be below the average. So as you see here, Celesteela average was pick 3, and Tapu Koko is around pick 2.5. So these two being the top 2-3 picks certainly makes a lot of sense. Next Pokemon I got was Mega Diancie. So Mega Diancie on average was the 29th pick. So that's like the very end of round 3, and I got it at the very end of round 2. So that also means it wasn't going to be available for my round 4 and round 5 pick. So I am okay with that pick. Infernape was picked on average pick 30. So it was on average very similar to Mega Diancie, around the 30th pick. So it wouldn't have came back to me at around 4 and 5, so that seems like it's okay pick there. Next Pokemon I got was Dragonite. Dragonite average was 46, and I got it at it'd be pick 40. So a little bit higher, around the same average as most pools. So I was pretty good prediction about picking it round 4 and 5 when I wanted to get it, and not round 3 with Mega Diancie. That would have been too early. Manaphy was picked average of 26, so in the middle of the 3rd round, and I got it at the end of the 4th, beginning of the 5th. So that's a really good value for Manaphy there. Cortana on average was picked 36. So that's in the middle of the 4th round. Yeah, the middle of the 4th round, and I got it at the end of the 6th, beginning of the 7th. So great value for Cortana. Bulu was picked 37, so very similar to Cortana. End of the 4th round, I got it. End of the 6th, beginning of the 7th. And again, you could say these are value picks, but it's all depending on what everybody thinks is good value picks. I'll highlight a couple picks that I felt like were pretty questionable, but I'll do that in a bit. And Jolteon, average pick 67. Let's see what the second column says. 74. This column here is like a readjust. The second column's like a readjusted based on not the 63rd is kind of deceiving. So Jolteon here really means it was like the 103rd most picked Pokemon on average. So not too high. Probably not too many people picked it. But that's okay with that. Let me see. He has all the data here. So let's see for Jolteon. It was picked in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 out of the 16 pulls. Wow, somebody got round 4 Jolteon. That's a little bit of a reach. Yeah, so that's cool stats there. Shout outs to him for doing that. Analyze. So here's my pool that I have right now. Highlight my opponents. This team, Landorus, T, and Keldeo, they're good. 2 picks. Laddie's Ferrothorn, that's decent. Ditto seems a little bit weird at round 6. I probably would have waited very end. Sylveon is okay. Darmanitan is pretty cool. Mega Manectric is cool, though I feel like you could get, like Jolteon, provide pretty much the same value as Mega Manectric. So you probably could have gotten a better Mega there, but it seems like a pretty solid team. This team here is one of the teams I'm facing in my pools. He arguably, probably, I would say he got his worst pick with the first overall pick. I feel like Heatran, Zapdos, Hydreigon, Mega Alakazam, Nidoking, Mamoswine are all better than Buzzwole. Maybe not Gyarados. I would probably say Gyarados is better than Buzzwole too. But he has a very interesting... It's a very balanced... Like, these are all Pokemon I could probably justify getting, like, picks 4 to 6. Maybe besides Zapdos, it'd be, like, around 3 pick in a free draft. So, like, his later picks are really good value, but his first picks aren't that great value. So, I'm not too big of a fan of this team. This team here, Coco Mega Scizor is cool. Tangros seems like a pretty big reach in round 3, but you gotta get what you want. Victini going to round 4 is pretty good value. Gliscor seems a little bit weird, as well as Vaporeon. Gengar and Salamence are pretty good value, especially in round 7. Salamence is really good, especially with Z moves. So this seems like a pretty decent team. Gallade, I've played him before. Finny seems like a questionable round 1 or even round 2 pick. But you pick what you like, I guess. Torrentie's okay in round 2. Mega Gallade is a really good value in round 3. Raikou's okay. Probably could have waited for that. Cresselia, probably could have waited for it. Rabami could have waited for it. Drape could have waited for it. Licky wouldn't have gotten. It seems a little bit underwhelming, especially because it's a free draft. I'm not too big of a fan of his team, but it's pretty bulky, so he could probably get a couple wins just because it's bulky. People don't like bulk. His next team, Mega Gardevoir, is probably not a great round 1 or 2 pick, maybe later on. It's a Mega that's worth drafting, but it's a little bit underwhelming with the Pixelate Nerf. Zeraora is cool. Weavile Toxapex is nice, and Incineroar seems like a pretty high pick in round 5. I probably would have waited 7 or 8. You pick Steelix when Squirmy was available, so that's cool. Como on round 8 is pretty okay, pretty good value. I face this team as well, Manly Soap, Mega Lopunny, Garchomp, they're really, and Jirachi. Jirachi fell, and that's something I kind of considered round 2 or 3. I really didn't with Celesteela. If it dropped to like round 4, round 5, I would have picked it immediately, even if I do have Celesteela. But these 3 picks are really solid. Amoonguss meh, just probably because Tangrowth was already taken. Azumarill, Thundurus T, they're great values in round 5 and 6. Blacephalon is really good, and Mandibuzz is really good. This is a pretty solid team. I expected to probably be one of the tops in my pool, as well as me. Next, Kieran Black is great at pick 8. Holucha seems weird just because you see he doesn't have terrain with it, which kind of seems weird. Mega Mawile, probably at the top 3 Mega or so in this, based on what was available. It's a great value. Araquanid, probably could have waited round 8 to get that if you really wanted it. Umbreon is not that great, but he follows it up at round 6 Necrozma, which is excellent value. That's something I considered with my round 4 and 5 picks. Chandelure is fine. Serena is garbage. I face this team as well, and this team is really, really good. Mew, Zygarde, they're easily top. Mew is top 5. Zygarde might be like in the top 8 best Pokemon available. So he was able to get those. Clavable's probably like a top 15. Suicune's probably like a top 20 available mon. Thundurus probably top 20 as well. Mega Medicham is super threatening. And Neolego and Scizor are really great mons as well. I feel like this team probably, I would imagine, is at least top 5 best team in the in all the drafts. So that's going to be a pretty hard team to face. So did I get everybody I was going to face? Yeah. Gallade, Jerome, Manly Soap, a name. And last we have Matt, who has a solid team. Latios, Excadrill, Tyranitar, they're great picks. Rotom is good. Rotom plus Melodic seems a little bit strange, but Rotom is a good defogger if he doesn't want to run defog on Latios or Rapid Spin on Excadrill, which he probably doesn't want to. Melodic can be any physically or special defensive and work well. Round 7, Volcarona with Z moves. I'm not surprised it lasted this long, but it's also stupid that it lasted this long. It's really threatening. And Mega Kangaskhan round 8 is really good. So I would imagine Matt, probably this team over the Manly Soap. So a name, Matt, myself, and between the other teams, I would probably go with... I'm not too enthralled with the other teams on the other side of the bracket. I would probably go with this team with the Necrozma, Kieran Black, Webb's team with Mega Mawile. I also want to highlight a couple pretty bad picks. So, I guess I'm kind of here to judge, but pick 3 Buzzwole is pretty bad. The worst pick that I saw out of all these, I was only looking at the top 10, so I have a list. Gothitelle. So Gothitelle was undrafted in my pool, but it went pick 1 in some pool. That is absolutely insane, especially because you see next to it, went pick 77, 74, and pick 80, and Gothitelle went number 1 in this pool. That is definitely the worst pick. But Buzzwole honestly might be the worst. Others were the Doug Trio. I spelled that right. Pick 5 Doug Trio when it was only picked in 5 pools. Gyarados was picked 6 in a pool when there was only 4 out of the 16 that it was picked in. Even though I picked it, Kartana was pick 8 in a pool. That's that's very high for it. Alakazam, Mega Alakazam was pick 8 when it was only picked in 5 out of the 16 pools. That seems a little bit high. And the last one I saw was a Zoomarobe, which has also fallen a little bit out of grace, but I really like it. But it was only picked in half the pools, and it was picked round 10, or pick 10 in this pool. So a couple interesting picks there, but I feel like I have a pretty good chance of making it past brackets. Not too really worried about Jerome's team. I'm not too worried about Gallade's team either, but I know he's a decent enough player, so I gotta watch out for that. Manly Soap has a good team, and a name has a really good team, so I feel like it's gonna be pretty tough for me to get past pools, but I feel like it's definitely a good possibility. So we'll see, but until next time, later guys.